Welcome to the PTTS. Today's date is February 1st, 2023, Wednesday. My name is Nang Hong Lam. Okay, on Sunday, which is on Sunday, January 29, around like 3 days ago, 2 to 3 days ago, so January 29, on Sunday, I made a video which was kind of like, in a way, I was very in a very upset mood, and I was kind of like cussing out loud in that video and things like that. So I kind of stopped. Like, I didn't really go through with that video because there was a lot of cussing and I was upset and all of that. Anyway, kind of like, in a way, it was like the whole bad luck and jinx. Basically, I'm pointing out that I'm bad luck. I'm just jinxing myself. Kind of like, it's just very frustrating and very upsetting. So I kind of stopped, like, didn't went through with the video. This video, I don't know how far. I kind of like basically like in the middle of the video, I kind of stopped. It was just getting very upset. I was just cussing out loud. It's like, like, I'm pointing out that I am bad luck and I'm jinxed. It's kind of like, in a way, there's that argument that I'm jinxing myself. Kind of like, in a way, so it got really. So I had to stop that video. It was very frustrating and upsetting, and I was cussing out loud in that video. So anyway, well, basically, first of all, I'm gonna go through like the activities in my schedule right now. Like I was pointing out in the previous videos, is that I was wanting to have the activity, the hunter or hunted arguments activity, which supposedly I want to put some thought into it and collect a lot like evidence to support this argument. So far, I'm just gonna read out loud what I have so far, which this is gonna be something that I want to put like some thought into it and gather evidence to support. So I'm gonna read out loud like I did in the previous videos. Also, I'm gonna read out loud what I have so far. So, hunter or hunted argument. The list of supports is so far. The supports is equivalent to the evidence that I'm going to gather for this argument. So the list of supports is so far. My contemplations of commit suicide, confessions. My contemplations of commit suicide, denials is famous versus infamous, fame and glory, the art of war, actual and want, actual and video game, history versus Hollywood, actual and digital, bad luck and jinx. Which, like I was saying earlier, the bad luck and jinx, I have to stop in the middle. I didn't follow through with that video, the bad luck and jinx. So, kind of like, I'm just listing like the supports that I'm going to gather. So, this is just listing. It's not that I have followed through with all of them. Like the one, my contemplation of commit suicide confession, that was the 17-hour video that I have completed. And then my contemplations of commit suicide denials, which I also talk about this, is the 31 chapter of kind of like, in a way, that having. No, the denial one is my contemplation of commit suicide denial one's the 17-hour videos. my contemplation of commit suicide confessions, the one chapters that I kind of like in a way was having that confessing why I have this feeling, and it was just like if there was a referent who came to my house, kind of like, you know, a one-on-one interview of my, like, kind of like give me a chance to confess. So kind of like in the 31 chapters. So okay, so not all of them that is on this, those two that I have completed, but not all of them on the list that I have completed. So kind of like in a way like the bad luck and jinx, which I started on the first tape and got midway through the tape, and I was very frustrated and upset. It was just like, you know, I'm pointing out that all this bad luck in my situation, and there's that arguments that because I'm pointing out these bad luck, I'm jinxing myself to have more bad luck and things like that. So kind of like I was getting very frustrated and upset about that argument, so kind of stopped in midway. Okay, and then the last one is so far that I have on this list is championship and wealth. Okay, so today basically I'm not gonna continue with the whole bad luck and jinx because of what happened on January 29, 2023. That I was just have to stop in the middle. So I'm not gonna continue with that. I'm just gonna probably look it through, and I'm just gonna come back on this. I'm gonna put more thoughts to come back on this, like the whole bad luck and jinx one, because very frustrating and upsetting, and also was cussing out loud in that video. Anyway, what I want to say is so kind of like in a way, so that's one of the main activity that I want to focus on is the hunter or hunted arguments. Like I was saying, I want to put some more thoughts into it and gather more evidences to support me on this argument. Hunter or hunted argument. And so that's one of the activity. Another activity would be, okay, I will point out my other activity after I'm done talking with the championship and wealth, which I was gonna talk about it like in kind of like in a way like instead of going through with the whole bad luck and jinx, I'm gonna replace it with championship and wealth, kind of like in a way just because I didn't went through with that. So but I postponed it for about 2 days of time, kind of like in a way it was on the 29th. I was gonna stop that and replace it with the championship. Well, kind of in a way postpone it. So right now I'm just gonna talk about the championship and well, and then afterward I'm gonna continue talking about the other activities in my schedule beside the hunter or hunted argument. So there's other activities also. Anyway, so championship and well, basically it's that, you know, like there's a way, like the whole argument that if you have championships you're gonna get well, kind of like, you know, like how like the hosting of the I'm just some of these things that I'm pointing out, I'm just assuming that people have heard about it and things like that. I am not making any kind of claim or anything. I'm just assumptions that people might heard about it and things like that. Not making any claims or anything like Pro Tours as tournament, Olympics. You know, I'm just making assumptions that people might heard of these things before, things like that. I am not making any claims, just assumptions that because of, like I was saying, that especially back in my first few years of the participating in the Pro Tour / tournament, I was having, every week I would join the Pro Tour / tournament at least one time each week, and also I would usually, most of the time, I would get that first place in Pro Tour. So kind of like in a way, it was very involved in my life. That's kind of like in a way so involved that I might have, I might have convinced it myself that it is a common activities is in my neighborhood. Kind of like in a way because of the heavily involved in it. So I'm not making any claim. I'm just because of my heavily involved. I'm just assuming that people might heard of it. So just because of I'm not making any claim. I'm just because of my heavy involvement with Pro Tours as tournament, Olympics game, that I have these assumptions that people might heard of it, but I'm not making any claims because of the heavy involvement in my life. Like I was participated in weekly, and I would most of the time would get that first place in the Pro Tour / tournament. So I'm not making any claims that people would heard about the Pro Tour / tournament or the Olympics game or anything like this. I'm just because of my heavy involvement, I'm making these assumptions. Okay, so anyway, I'm going to continue. So basically, I'm just making these assumptions that people have heard of Pro Tour / tournament and Olympics game before. Okay, so I'm going to continue on. Okay, so anyway, so because of the whole Pro Tour / tournament, if you get first place, you get a prize. Same as Olympics. If you get the first place, you get a gold medal, which is in the like for those who heard of the Olympics game, the gold medal is worth some money value. There's money value to the gold medal also. So the same, but Olympics, those gold medals are worth much more. From my experience in the Pro Tour / tournament, like the first place prize you get, okay. So first of all, let me just want to add to a few things before I continue with this, just to not to mislead, misunderstand, and confuse anyone. So I'm gonna add a few concepts to what I'm talking, like this whole championship and wealth. Okay, one concept is I felt that having some sort of a database, a stabilized, kind of a stabilized Hall of Fame or database system would kind of avoid these situations that I'm in. That is again that's just one way. It's just the whole it's not that because back when I first started, the database system was writing down on notebooks who got what placement and things like that. So I'm not in a way, I am not making any kind of against people who, look at the coordinators who already went through all this process, getting the players together and finding a locations and taking out all this time. And then it's not the coordinator fault, it's the people who not paying enough attention. Kind of in a way that